So a lot of people have been calling out Draymond Green for ruining inside the NBA. And I think after this news broke, yeah, he has ruined inside the NBA because we've never seen players refuse interviews after the game like what happened after the last game they covered in the Minnesota-Dallas series. Before we get on to, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We're trying to 5,000 subscribers as soon as possible. And yeah, if you guys could subscribe, we greatly appreciate it. We play more basketball here than anywhere else. So basically, at the end of Game 4, the Minnesota Timberwolves obviously were being asked to be interviewed. And as a team, they made a decision that they were flat out refusing to do any interviews for the Inside the NBA. And you might be saying, it's like, why would they refuse to do interviews like with Shaq, Charles Barkley? Like, is that not one of the things players love? No, they refused to do the interviews because of one player, and that's Draymond Green. Heck, like Draymond Green, the previous game, or was it game 2? Whatever game it was, when Luka hit the game winner. Draymond Green, while interviewing Luka Doncic, literally in the middle of the interview, goes, Rudy Gobert sucks. So why the hell would anyone want to be interviewed by that player? Like, that's not criticism. Like, it's not like there are genuine faults with Rudy Gobert's game, but Rudy Gobert sucks. He's not a defensive player of the year. He was up there on his podium speaking his native language. It's a joke that he won defense player of the year. Like, they are paraphrased quotes. They're close enough to what he said about Rudy Gobert. He has not only insulted he's not only said that he sucks at basketball, he's insulted Rudy Gobert personally and insulted the fact that he's French. Like, yeah. Fair play to the Timberwolves. And not only that, like, again, some of the stuff that he's personally said about, like, he's made personal attacks at Karl Anthony Towns as well. Like, this, it goes further in basketball. And it's the worst is, like, he is pretending that he's different. As I've said, like, his whole thing with new media is, oh, this media can't go criticize the players. To be fair, Draymond Green doesn't really criticize half the time players what they do on the court. No, he goes for the person. He criticizes them as people. He doesn't even criticize these players as players. He criticizes them as people. And of all people in the NBA to criticize as people, in the top 15, you can criticize Draymond Green, who has a literal problem with not assaulting people. He averages, like, I'm not joking. Since they last won the title, he has assaulted more people than he's won playoff games. I'm not joking. Since June 2022, he has assaulted more people on the court than he has won playoff games. And I'm not saying, like, some of the times he gets thrown out, some of the hard fouls. I'm talking about actual assaults, like punches, headlocks, curb stomps. He has more assaults than he has playoff wins. So, like, don't throw stones from a glass house. But the Minnesota Timberwolves have come to an agreement that they would not do any interviews as long as Draymond Green's there. And I gotta say, fair play. Like, that's sticking up to your teammates. That is, like, a lot of the time people are gonna criticize Cat. They're gonna criticize Gobert because they hate Gobert, and people still hate Cat because of what Jimmy Butler said about him. Even though when Jimmy Butler played with Karl Anthony Towns, Cat was 21? People change. And Ant-Man, in the leader that he is, like, this is what we call, like, perfect leadership. Like, I don't give a damn. There are only a very small percentage of people that will thrive in the LeBron James leadership style. Or not the LeBron James, the Michael Jordan leadership style. I'm just saying, right now with the LeBron James leadership style, especially as he's getting on in his career and he's not the guy on the best team anymore, yeah, there's not that many people will thrive in that. But Anthony Edwards' leadership style is perfect. There is a guy that will go to any length to defend his teammates. This is a guy who will make sure that his teammates are, like, keep their head up at all times. He's the most positive influence in all situations, and it helps that he's their best player. Like, the maturity as far as just being a leader that Anthony Edwards has shown at 22 years old is unbelievable. And this just shows, like, why, like, look, is Anthony Edwards good enough at basketball to be the face of the NBA yet? No, but I think he's going to get there, and I think he's going to be the face of the NBA. Because Anthony Edwards, like, even with this just shows that he's ride or die for his team. It doesn't matter that he's getting these interviews. He has a chance to put himself forward. He has a chance to get more notoriety, be on TV. He just said no. Because Draymond Green is there. Because he's been insulting his teammates. they've just agreed none of us are doing this interview. We're not going to be there. We're going to, basically, if you want to put this a-hole on the TV, we're going to do everything we can, or we're not going to be there. We'll hurt. You guys want to hurt our players, we'll hurt your network. And I got to give so much credit to Minnesota for that. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh yeah, Draymond Green is going to have his revenge game against Minnesota. And do what? Have a triple single? Draymond Green is not a very good basketball player right now. And look, Draymond Green, I love Draymond Green, the player, up to a point. They don't win. They probably win the 2022 NBA championship without him. They do not win any of those championships earlier without him. He was so important. He was so important to that team. And his role cannot be understated for the dynasty. And I'm not considering the 2022 was like just at the very end of it. I don't consider that part of the dynasty. They got not quite a lucky run. They faced the Celtics team that were off form. They faced if Milwaukee with Chris Middleton were there in the finals, I think Milwaukee win. If Miami make the finals, I actually think Miami win that one, to be honest. But they faced the Celtics team who probably weren't up for the bright lights and had no answer for Stephen Curry. But at the end of the day, the Timberwolves are going to go out and murder the Warriors because of Draymond Green. And you know what? Draymond Green is probably going to assault Rudy Gobert again because he just can't seem to help himself. But yeah, that is the video. Fair play to go to Minnesota. And I have to give, as I've said, Anthony Edwards, like this guy he's just such a good guy, isn't he? Like he's a perfect leader to have on your team. He's a perfect teammate. He's a fantastic player. And look, he did not play particularly well in the conference finals, but he's always, no matter how bad he plays, he gives you 100% effort. He will always play defense and he'll always try to do what it takes to win. It's just unfortunate that, look, it probably came a year too early to make the conference finals. He's going to be unbelievable, and it's likely that he will be the face of the NBA. He's going to be the next American. I think he's the next American to break into the top 5 players in the world. Like the top 5 players for me is pretty set in stone. Joel Embiid, in it whatever order you want. Luka Doncic, Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Jokic, sure, or Giannis. One of Giannis, Jokic, or Luka, whichever one I forgot to say. But 5 players in 5 different countries, and the 6th best, I don't know, you could argue it's Steph Curry, you could argue Tatum, probably is an American at 6th best, so you could argue the 6th best are from 6 different countries. But I think the first American that breaks into that top 5 is going to be Anthony Edwards. And look, if you are the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Timberwolves are going to be back next year. They're going to be back and better. Ant-Man's going to be better. I know Mike Conley's getting on in age, but he's still going to be good. Rudy Gobert is going to still be Rudy Gobert. Such an important player for a team. And look, their team chemistry is going to get better. They're going to get used to playing with each other more. McDaniels is going to get better. Naz Reid is still there under contract. And they're going to be equally as dangerous, if not more dangerous next year. So yeah, they lost to Dallas. They lost to 2 of the best guards. Luka, one of the best guards in the history of the sport. Kyrie Irving, when he wants to be, is one of the best guards in the history of the sport. And he was this season, he has been completely tunnel visioned on basketball, which has not happened in years. Like even like long before. Like from the year that he left LeBron, Kyrie has not been tunnel visioned on basketball. He's tunnel visioned on basketball right now, and it's scary with the 2 of them. They lost to a really, really good Dallas team. So, look, not the end of the world, and fair play to them for actually standing up to, for lack of a better word, the bully that is Draymond Green. And I'm not talking about being a bully on the floor. I'm just talking about being a bully in general in Draymond Green.